All right, Divya Shakti Devidas has joined us, and Kat from the world famous Yumbas. We world famous because I make a world challenge. The best ice cream in the world. Whoa. And not only that, gluten-free, lactose-free, sugar-free, but full of taste.
You're very kind, Maharaj. Good morning.
I'm truthful, Kat. But very difficult for the Italians to digest. They may be better ice cream than the one you make.
Thank you, Maharaj.
All right, welcome.
Good to be here.
All right, good to have you with us. And I've got a little sign here saying Praneshwari has shared a file. BBC Mini Vandana. Okay, Praneshwari is trying to get us to be Krishna conscious. She's keeping us on the ball. So in the box, in the chat box, there is a mini Vandana. It's in mini writing too. I'll have to put on specs to see this. Yes, Guru Pranam, Vaishnava Pranam. So it's top left, top right, then Gaur Pranam, and then from Prapana Jivanamrita, then from Srimad Bhagavatam, then Chatushloki. All right. They're here without translations. However, those of you with a full class attendance record, you've already gone through these, you know the meaning of them word by word. And so let us begin, because we've got our little group. More may arrive, no problem. And first of all, obeisances to everybody before we start our mini Vandanam. Vanchakalpatrubhischa, Kripasinduvidevacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Now, can I move this a little bit without knocking yours over? So, I think, Mayashri, you've got to come in somewhere. Maybe you can sit behind or to the left. All right, so our BBBC, Mini Vandanam, slowly together. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Chije Namaha. Bhagavad Bhaktita Sarvam Ityutsrijya Vidher Api Tainkaryam Krishna Padaiga Shayratam Sharanagati. It's okay. We got to this one is Padaik Ashrayatvam, so it's going to need an A at the beginning of. I know you've split it up here, but it's Ashraya, so it's Padaka Ashraya, Padaka Ashrayatvam. So you need an A before the S of Shrayavatam as well. The A at the end of Padaika and an A at the beginning of Ashraya. Okay, excuse me. Now, the last of our verses at the beginning part, Kaler Dosha, together. Kaler Dosha Nidhe Rajan Asti Hyeko Mahan Gunaha Kirtanad Eva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Parang Rajet. And I think you'll find that the Mukta should go to the next line. So Kirtanad Eva Krishnasya, then next line is Mukta Sangha Parang Rajet. And then Chatur Shloki of Bhagavad Gita, the 4 seed verses of Bhagavad Gita. Together. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta savam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha Machchita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mang nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogantam yena mamupayanti te. Tesham evanukampatam aham ajnana jankamaha nashayam yatma bhavasto yana deepena bhashpata. And on what I have on my screen, unless it's a bit of dirt, there's a dot under the M of that last one of the Chatushloki Praneshwari Riddhi. So that's an unusual letter. So just check. Oh, there are one or two with dots under. We see on the verse before Te Sham Satata, there's a dot under the M there. Oh, they're both Te Shams. So some things happen, just check it from the original Gita, kindly. Okay, this is our auspicious beginning. Okay, we lost Cat. Oh no, we didn't. Cat's here. She's moving around on the screen. All right, good. So this is our auspicious beginning, and we've got here with the special guests, and special guests because they are from your part of the, I mean, because many things, but because they're from your part of the world, that little village called the United States. And they are both brought up, you see Gaur and Nataraj smiling there because devotees are always smiling. And oh look, big smile from Kala too. And Divya Shakti. And Divya Shakti is with us. Hi Divya.
Upside down, Divya.
Upside down, Divya, no problem. All is good. The Vaishnava is always the right way up. They have the correct angle of vision. And they know about the back to basics. And so they are volunteering to come to give a little contribution today, and actually volunteered something which we've not covered. And that is that they are both, as well as brought up in not only Vaishnava families, but strong Vaishnava families. The son of Shrutashrava Prabhu, Vaishnava Maharaj, the son of Jagarananda Prabhu. And they have come to share something because they also have other things in quality. That is that they are both good cooks with a whole lifetime of experience. And Gaur Nataraj, by the way, has a certificate. He's not, and a medal. He's not wearing the medal today, but it's pinned on him. And that is in Chiang Mai, here at the temple, he's the best cook. And that medal is given to him by none other than Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj.
Best cook.
We make him very shy when we say this, but it is so. So the two of them are going to mention something about cooking for Krishna and how Prasādam is the very, almost we've conquered everything by honoring Prasādam. Therefore, some tips on cooking for Krishna. And Maheshwari, she's going to contribute, and I'm not sure how she's going to, as a taster, as a Spanish speaking, and many of you are Spanish speaking too, but she can also confirm the taste of the cooking, and she can contribute some Argentinian speciality things that Krishna must like, because he likes tasty things. So between 1, 2, 3 of you, I'm going to listen and learn today.
Jai Srila Madhusudan Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So Maharaj asked us to join in today, and there wasn't much that I could think of in contributing, but the kitchen seva was something that me and Gaur were kind of raised doing there in SoCal. It was mainly the focus of our lives, definitely the focus of our service since very young. This was kind of the main reason why we would come to the temple. It was always going straight into the kitchen. And recently, this has been something that we were trying to highlight here in Chiang Mai for the young Russian community here, as well as trying to make some videos. So when Maharaj asked us to say something, this was kind of the first and foremost thing that we thought we could help contribute. And one of the topics right away that comes to mind that Gaur is very heavy in trying to push and be stern on is your consciousness and your appearance and your cleanliness when cooking in the kitchen. So there's these, I don't want to say aspects or, you know, rules, so to speak, but we have to follow kind of some guidelines so that we have our minds clean, we have our bodies clean, we have our clothing clean. And really these things, the carry over into so much more of our devotional lives, even outside of the kitchen. These are very practical ways of practicing, practical ways of living. So growing up in SoCal, we had the good fortune of having a very strong senior community there, like Divya Shakti there and Chinmoy Dev. And so many of them received such good training directly from Srila Prabhupada. So many of our senior devotees, my parents, Divya Shakti, Dikshavati, Sarva Bhavana, Hasipriya, of course, Srila Jana Maharaj, Sureshwari. So we were very fortunate to have second-hand experience directly from the source. And this was something that was so necessary because really we have no way to do these things. We have no idea how to do these things. How do you cook for God? You know, how do you cook something for Krishna? It's really
I think we lost him.
They will come back. They will come back.
Weird.
Because Gaur and Nataraj is still, oh no, he's gone as well.
Oh, we're back.
Are we back?
Oh, great.
I don't know what happened. Just suddenly you all disappeared. We were here.
Oh, she's
Yes.
Gurudev Samadhi.
Gurudev Samadhi.
Divya.
Oh, Divya, how did you do that? Transported yourself to Navadip. Look, our smart Divya Shakti Devi.
So
It's a backdrop.
I
Photo.
lost you for a minute.
Yeah, we lost you, Divya.
So in a way, it was really fortunate that we were able to get this kind of training from such a young age, me and Gaur especially, being brought up in this community. We were lucky that this was really the only way that we knew how to do these things. We didn't learn any other way. So now that we're older and Maharaj has been pushing me and trying to get me to join in some of the Skype classes, I'm trying to figure out something that I could contribute. And I don't know anything about the Vedas. I don't know anything about the scriptures, but doing seva in the kitchen is one thing I can speak a little bit about.
Okay, and I object because really he knows so many things. He's a contributor to all of our programs, brought up not only in the family, but with so many senior devotees around him, headed by Siddhanti Maharaj and Sarva Bhavana and so many. So he's just being humble. He chose this topic. But he and Gaur and Nataraj can both give us many tips on devotional life. But today we have this. Okay, objection accepted?
Objection accepted.
All right.
Overruled.
Overruled, okay, accepted by the others.
So we figured we'd start with just kind of some of the basics for how to approach this seva, how to approach it properly, how to do it successfully, how to build on it, and how it can really carry over to really all parts of your devotional life and your life in general. So it's starting when going to cook an offering or cook in a temple or cook, not even an offering. I mean, of course, everything should be offered, but even if you're outside of the temple, in your own home, you have guests, you have Vaishnav guests, someone like Madhusudan Maharaj, ho, VIP guest. The most important thing, of course, is cleanliness. So we want to always be bathed. We want to always have fresh cloth on, especially when you're cooking in the temple, in the kitchen, for the Lord, for Krishna, and you're making an offering. This is like the foremost thing. And devotional clothing, tilak, these are like absolute mandatory necessities. And it's not just that you want to have the dress of a devotee, like a uniform, so to speak, but in a way it is a kind of a uniform because it keeps you in the right mood. When you're cooking with somebody, when Gaur is there in the kitchen and we're together, I look at him, he's always in a kurta, he's in a dhoti, he's in tilak, he's clean, and this reminds us of what we're doing. It reminds us that we're in the kitchen cooking for Krishna with devotees, and it keeps our consciousness in the right place. Because when you're cooking, whatever is in your mind, whatever you're thinking of in the time really translates into the food. It really carries out. So if you're in a negative mood, if you're thinking negative thoughts, if you're thinking negative things, if you're angry at some person or something, it goes directly into what you're cooking. And it really can be like poison.
Hare Krishna.
Sorry to say this, but it's true. Even just cutting fruit, something like this, you really have to be in the proper mood. If you're angry at somebody for it, it will have a sour taste.
Hare Krishna.
So this is very important. This is why it's nice to play some sounds, play some recordings, play some bhajans, play some lectures, some classes. Now everything is on YouTube and Facebook. You can have access to all these things. So this really helps keep us focused in what we're doing. It's important not to lose these kind of foundations. What are you laughing over there, Gaur?
Devi Shakti's now in the sewing room. She's transporting herself.
Oh.
She's showing how smart she is. They're changing the backdrops. Well done, Divya. We should be more creative ourselves, shouldn't we? Anyway, wonderful to go there. Look, the sewing room in Navadip. Oh, no, it's a sewing room
In SoCal.
in Socal. Oh, right. Yes.
Sewing house, not a room.
Yeah.
So these are important things to start and important things that we have to really try to practice. And as far as consciousness goes, it is very hard to control your mind. It's impossible, at least for myself. So having these kind of things really help keep you in the right thought, in the right frame of mind, in the right direction, and keeping yourself focused at the service you're doing. You know, it's not a right that we have to cook in the kitchen. It's not something that we have any real authority in doing. It's completely a privilege, and it's something that we have to really aspire to do. And it's not something everybody gets to do, really. It's a very rare service. You know, you see when we went to India, how few Westerners were ever cooking in the kitchen. And I can't remember ever seeing, outside of small offerings for some of the VIP guests, you never see anybody. So it's kind of I don't want to say elite thing, but it's a rare opportunity that you get to cook for Krishna. You get to make offerings. You get to do this seva on a regular basis. And it's something that you have to really be proud of that you're doing and try to really put your whole heart into it. And it will come out good. And there's several aspects of it that are very important, what we just touched on. And Gaur Prabhu there has many, many, many years of experience. And I know I'm forgetting some things. Forgive me. It's very early in the morning here for us. So he will jump in now and continue the conversation. Or tell us some more things about your kitchen seva life and some of the things that you picked up on your way. Gaur cooks every week here, at least 1 or 2 offerings a week here in Chiang Mai, as well as he's doing he took over the seva of the shopping for the Boga. And I have to say, since he took it over, he's managed to keep everybody focused on not overspending, just using what is necessary. This is also a good quality to have, is not wasting anything. We have to remember that when we're cooking prasadam, we don't ever want it to be thrown away. We don't want anything going to waste. These are very special things. Krishna's remnants, they're very holy, they're very purifying, and we don't want to see them going to waste. So he's taken this over. He's really helped try to change the consciousness in the kitchen and keep people focused on this, as well as he's a great teacher. Actually, this is something I did not know about Gaur. He's very patient in the kitchen, and he wants to show people how to do these things. So whenever he's cooking, he's showing them why he uses the ingredients, why he uses certain spices, the flavors that they get, how to cut the vegetables the right way, how to cut the spices, the chilies, the ginger, all these things. So he really has a vast amount of knowledge and experience in this. And now he will share a few things with us.
Well, I think Kala gives me a little bit too much credit, as far as he was actually the one who started taking over the
So Gaur, you never connected your audio. So we can hear you if Kala turns his microphone on.
Okay, he's just connecting the audio.
It's okay. You only missed nothing. He was just talking about me, so it's better that you missed it.
Hare Krishna.
Your ears have been saved.
Govinda, 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 Govinda. So while this is all connecting, because it's taking a long time to connect, everything about the cooking for Krishna starts with the shopping for Krishna, selecting the things for Krishna. And as Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, of course, point out that we should be doing any service from beginning, from its conception through to the end as an offering, rather than like cooking great things. Oh, we're going to have a great feast today. And then finally we say, okay, let's give it to Krishna. Oh, when's Krishna going to eat? We're all so hungry. It should be actually the other way around, that everything from the beginning is for Krishna's satisfaction. And so, Gaur, please come here. Yeah.
This audio is not connecting to you.
His, whatever it is, pad is not cooperating so well.
Maybe
So anyway, well, I just sort of took that opportunity to chip in a couple of things. And the thing is, you all know about cooking for Krishna to some extent, but we can always learn from each other. And we have got with us now the certified best cook in Chiang Mai, and now certified teacher, which I didn't know about. So here, Gaur, please continue. Gaur, over to Gaur Nataraj, Prabhu. We are all ears.
Hello, what's everyone?
Oh, now you're getting dual Gaur.
Okay.
Well, like I was saying, it's actually Kala was originally, we were just taking over the seva originally because the main chef was leaving for India during Gurpanim. So we started doing that while he was gone, the shopping. And in that way, we were just trying, and with the coronavirus, everything was, we have to be even more mindful of budget and not wasting anything. So we started doing that, and as Madhusudan Maharaj said, we're trying as much as possible to make everything an offering to Krishna, not just the offering. And in that way, it's nice to be with the devotees. If going by yourself is definitely more difficult than going with other devotees. So in that way, we're with Madhusudan Maharaj here and Goswami Maharaj's blessing and Bhakti Lita, that is helping to give us energy and give us inspiration to cook, to shop, to do all that. And as Kala was saying, our mood, our thought process going into everything is what's so important. And, putting love into the food is not just the food we're making for the Lord. He's not taking just what we're offering. He's taking love and devotion that we're trying to offer it with. And so that's what we've been trying to instill in Gupta Govardhan. And I'm just learning, I'm just trying to teach what I've learned from so many master chefs, from Sureshri Didi, Sanatani, Divya Shakti, all these people. And so in that way,
Janardhan Maharaj must have given you a few tips.
Janardhan Maharaj gave me lots of different tips. Not always that I was doing very so well, but and so I'm sorry, I'm a little
It's a little early here.
Okay, Gaur, give us a secret, okay? Because everyone says, oh, Gaur cooked today, it's so tasty. So then give us a secret. that you know and nobody else knows, how to make the prasadam so tasty for the Lord?
Good question.
A secret. I mean,
Secret. Don't.
Lots of butter. Or ghee is better.
Well, I actually usually like before I start cooking, I like to go to Gurudev and go to Giriraj and pray for some inspiration from them. Or in Sokel, Shri Shri Guru Granga Gandharvaka Giridhari. And in that way, feel that I'm getting some inspiration to cook. Because by myself, I have, some mechanical skills that I've learned over the years, but...
He was a mechanic, by the way.
No, I meant mechanical by...
All pun intended.
No, no pun intended, but... In that way, there's the mechanics of cooking, but that's one of the reasons why, like Kala was saying earlier, that, having proper dress gives you, you can't just be, it's harder to think or let your mind wander. It still does, but at the same time, you are more reminded of what you're doing. You're not just cooking, you're cooking for the Lord, you're cooking for the devotees. So in that way, we're trying to understand what the Lord likes, what the devotees like, and we can understand what the Lord likes by also what the devotees like. And so Janardhan Maharaj was always very, lots of input in different ways. And I've learned in that way. And Madhusudan Maharaj,
what?
Taken, been, for how long, Maharaj, now have you been in the mission in India, eating prasadam, taking prasadam?
Almost 40 years.
Well,
38 years.
38 years from India, 1982.
So Maharaj has a better understanding, of course.
Of what? Cooking.
Honoring prasad.
Oh, honoring prasad. Okay, that's another story. Hare Krishna.
So Maharaj did mention how the seva starts from the beginning, and so we can say like the shopping is the beginning. And something that Gaur reminded everybody about here when he started to do this was that this is Gurudev's money, this is Krishna's money. So when we're going to the market, he was very strict, Gaur was, he was very strict because of the things that he saw and learned when he was in India. What was the name of the
Nripin.
Ripon.
Oh,
Nripin Prabhu.
yes.
Yeah, so
I went a few times collecting with Nripin Prabhu.
Means collecting boga.
collecting boga. So
yeah.
you go out in India, for those who've never done it, you go out in India with, your full dhoti, tilak, everything, with some big bags or a cart or whatever you have. And you go from place to place to the market asking for donations. And this is what is offered. So this is not only a wonderful thing as a seva, but you're also allowing the people there to get some good sukriti, to get some good karma, because whatever they give, whatever they offer, is then cooked. It's offered to Krishna, it's offered to the devotees, it's offered to Gurudev, since it's in India. So this is really a wonderful opportunity that you're giving everybody. You're not just getting vegetables, but it's far beyond that. So what Gaur reminded us that he learned and that he saw from India being, not just being practiced and being put into place, was like zero wasting, especially zero waste, not just zero wasting of vegetables, but zero wasting of any Lakshmi, of any money. So he said that he was how old when you went? Like
85 maybe?
85 years old. And he wouldn't spend even like 1 rupee for a rickshaw or any kind of porter or a carrier or anybody to carry any of the boga. He would send the boga by a rickshaw to the temple, but he himself would then walk all of the way because he didn't want to waste even any of the money that could be used for the seva on himself. So this was like a really, really nice thing to be reminded of that Gaur brought here and made us aware of, not to be to be mindful of everything that we're doing. So like Maharaj said, from the beginning, it starts like this. So if you start and you lay your foundation in these ways, then you have some nice habits, I guess you could say, that you're always kind of mindful of what you're doing and who you're doing it for. So since we're focusing on a Bhakti basics class here, we can kind of highlight these principles. So it starts in this way where we go to the market, we do our collections, and really from there, like Gaur said, it's, and those in SoCal kind of know this, it's not so much planned, it's kind of whatever's available kind of dictates how you cook and what you cook, unless if it's a large feast day. So Gaur and myself, we would take over the shopping and we would do these things. And of course, we know where you are in the world, where you're seasonal and these kind of things can affect and determine what you're able to cook. Here it's more tropical climate, there's much different vegetables and things available. But there's always a few basics and a few staples that we like to have in the kitchen and the temple. Of course, Indian food is kind of the overwhelming theme. We are an Indian culture. And I believe everybody here, maybe except for Rupanuga, no, he was in India, so he knows all about Indian. Dayabadi.
Maybe Cat didn't yet go.
Cat didn't yet go.
And Vrindarani is here. He was there probably. Yes, Rupanuga, Kashmiri dosa.
We're always reminded of your South Indian tour, Rupanuga, and how jealous I am every time I hear it. All this wonderful food.
And by the way, everything in India, it doesn't mean it's actually correct. So India also changes because the doshas are from South India. And Kashmir, of course, is Northwest India. But you can see by Rupanuga Prabhu's face. I mean, that was very delicious, most luxurious dosha you'll ever get. And, to Gurudev before we're taking, because we were touring in South India, we weren't always able to cook, but still,
Oh, Maharaj, I think you might have to eliminate one of your internet connections. Either Gaur has to go, or I think you're asking too much for the internet.
Oh dear, oh giraffe, oh elephant. Anyhow, even if you're in a restaurant, etc., 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 or you have to be, because basically we had to be, we don't do it by choice, then still to make a prayer to Gurudev. And by Gurudev's grace, we've been, don't tell anybody, but in restaurants with Gurudev in different places. And we know that he's going to appreciate this, this, and this, and especially doshas, by the way. Ooh. He liked the South Indian food. And even in Jagannath Puri, Gurudev, because that's getting south, and there he relished the doshas and the idlis and the sambar and these South Indian varieties. So anyway, we know what Gurudev likes to some extent, and we're very happy to offer it to him before participating. All right. And Maheshwari Devidansi, give us something from your point of view.
She spent all her time as a devotee learning in Mexico from Srila Maharaj and the devotees there in Madhu Chanda and Arjun Prabhu and so many of the Mexican leaders of the community there. So she definitely had some good training and learned from the best. Dayavadi's there now, I see, in Tijuana. Pula Krishna.
Jai
so
Jai.
Nice to see you again.
So here's your honorary Mexican Argentinian.
Yeah.
Maheshwari did it. Say, give a few words.
Dandavad, everyone. I don't know much about cooking prasadam. I'm not good at it. I don't like it because I cannot put my heart on it. But I'm actually very good honoring prasadam. So
That's my specialty.
like Maharaj. So you can actually taste like the mood of the people who are cooking, how important it is to have the proper mood to cook. And also to people who help in the kitchen, people who cut the things. That's very important too. You're putting all your energy or your consciousness there. So it's very important. Even if you're peeling potatoes, that's the most important part, you know. And washing the dishes, that's my favorite thing to do in the kitchen. We have to be conscious like all the time. We in our life, we're never conscious, like when we're in our house, in work. It's very difficult to relate that to Krishna consciousness. But if you're in the kitchen of the temple, even if you're washing the dishes, you have to be Krishna consciousness.
And the dishwasher is always the cook's best friend, by the way.
Yeah, it's true.
They make everybody in the kitchen very happy.
That's...
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Okay,
Krishna.
we're all together. Your
we're all
turn. Everybody there.
But there is one last thing
Okay.
about the cooking that is perhaps one of the most important parts, and that is the actual offering process, which very fortunate for those in SoCal, we always had a very special, unique person doing this, which was Ramai Prabhu. Forever, for 30 plus years, he was the pujari there. And this is another aspect of it, that what guarantees do we have, or that our offering will actually be accepted, that Krishna will actually accept this offering, that he will turn it into prasadam, that he will take it. So we were very fortunate to have Ramai there, who could, because of his dedication, and he was so surrendered to his seva and to the deities there and to Krishna, that he could, like with force, he could force Krishna to accept this offering. There was no way that he could not. He had so much affection for those deities and for that temple there. This was really perhaps the reason why the prasadam there was so special in SoCal, that you knew that it was always offered with a pure heart, with love, with complete dedication and complete surrender. And this was like a daily, this wasn't just for festivals, just for certain times. I mean, this was for like 35 straight years, without a break, without a lapse, without a pause. And now we see, since he's moved on, really it takes like 5 people to do the seva that he was doing
at minimum.
At minimum. And it's like difficult for those 5 people. I mean, it's like 10 people, like Chinmoy and Divishakti. No, I mean, this was like a non-stop thing, from cooking the sweets, from sitting by the stove for like 3 hours, just churning milk over and over until it became like this pure heavenly sweetness, hard to describe for those who haven't had it. The burfi and the sweet balls and sandesh that he would make. So we were extremely lucky to see that kind of dedication, and that was always a reminder in the kitchen, because Ramai was a constant presence there. It was impossible not to be around him. His whole life there was in the kitchen and on the altar, and he was the one really who kept us in focused in one direction. He would not allow anything that wasn't proper to go in the kitchen or go on the offering. He really maintained a standard that he would not allow anybody to break. Doesn't matter if it was Chanda Maharaj, if it was my mother, if it was my father, if it was Gaur's mother, Gaur's father. Doesn't matter how VIP you thought you were. If this wasn't allowed to be offered, it was not offered. Didn't matter who you were or what it was. So this was like a really, really special person, and a great reminder of devotional seva and commitment to your seva. I mean, we even heard these stories about even when he passed away, he couldn't, Nilamani, who took it over, could not get into his computer that he inherited from Ramai. There was a password on it. So Ramai came to him in a dream, like a week after he passed away or something, and told him the password. So we can see that even after he left the temple, he's still present in the temple, looking after everything, looking after the kitchen, looking after the altar, making sure everything is happening properly. seeing that somebody couldn't get into the computer that was going to be used for the seva to help things there, giving him the password. And then again, this happened, I think twice or 2 or 3 times. And then he came back and he told my brother the password in a dream. So we can see this is like such a beautiful example of your dedication and your love for your seva. And we were really so lucky to see these things, because now, I mean, at the time, of course, I was very young and even stupider than I am now. So we take a lot of these things for granted. We don't realize how special these seniors are and how much they've committed and surrendered to this service. It was really like incredible to look back on and to think about how long we did this for without getting tired of it or getting bored of it or thinking, oh, I'm not so important. This is kind of, you know, a meaningless job that I'm doing, or I wish I had some better service. I'm bored. It was never this kind of attitude. He was always enthusiastic. He kept the mood in the kitchen very uplifting, joking, having fun. So this is kind of the other side of cooking, is the offering. So we were very, very lucky to see Ramai and learn from really like the last, maybe the only real brahmachari in the Western mission that we had. And Gaur learned so much from him. He was there taking care of him throughout the later part of his life, and really got to learn firsthand from one of our really great senior devotees there. Sorry, shaking around. And Chinmoy, especially in Divya Shakti, he can all back up all these things of how wonderful it was. Kelly, and I think she came to SoCal several times and met him. So these are kind of some of the different foundations about the kitchen seva. And so many of them really can be carried out in all parts of your spiritual life and just all parts of your life. Keeping your consciousness clean, like Gaur was talking about, keeping your body clean, your mind clean, how so much of it carries over to your environment, to the people in your environment, to the people around you. You know, I know you guys all know from Madhusudan Maharaj, from being in these classes with him, he's only talking about Krishna. He's only thinking about Krishna, about his seva. When he sneezes, he says, Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. He doesn't say, Achu or anything, or bless me or anything like this.
I'm saying, oh dear.
The only words that come out of his mouth are Krishna conscious words and spiritual words. And this is because he has a very Krishna consciousness. These are the only things he wants to think about. And this is a very good class that he's started, is because the basics are so much, at least for me, they were forgotten so easily. So when he was telling me about these things, and it was really wonderful to hear about them and be reminded about them, because it can be kind of easy just to forget about them and think that they're just a habit or they're just a nature, but habits can become lost and they can become kind of misguided.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Gaur Nataraj.
I think majority of you all met Ramai and cooked in the kitchen with him. And one of the things that was so nice about cooking in the kitchen with Ramai, well, everything, just being around Ramai was amazing. But I would always, if I was thinking to cook something, I would ask him, like, what do you think about this? And sometimes, Ramai's answers weren't always straightforward. They were sometimes cryptic. This Chinmoy and Divya Shakti. He would sometimes, and if there was some hesitation, you knew that was, he didn't like to discourage people from their seva, but you kind of had to start understanding how he would react. And so you asked him, what do you think about this? I'm thinking about cooking this. And he would say, okay. Like if it was something like it sounds good to him, he would just, yeah. Like there was no, they had a certain way. And just being in the kitchen with him, that was such a wonderful part of cooking as well.
He would never allow you to even offer chocolate, which is crazy to think of now. But you couldn't offer chocolate. You couldn't offer, what was the other thing that we were always trying to push? we were always trying to get him to kind of bend the rules a little bit for us, especially on like Janmashtami or Gurudev's appearance day or Radhastami, these kind of major holidays for us. And he still noodles.
Right. He wouldn't let us.
Oh, that's right.
Forget.
Yeah, noodles, tofu. Like if it was, I mean, we hear about like the Jagannath temple and how strict they are there. We're not that. He wasn't that strict, but he was a close second place for sure. I mean, we think about like everybody loves chocolate. I know Krishna would love chocolate. How come we can't offer some chocolate? And I know in Italy for sure they're offering some pasta. So there is some.
And what about soya chunks? Did he allow those? No, I don't think.
No tofu, no soy. I mean, he was really. I mean, just to give you an idea, those who haven't met him, how special he was for this seva. Before he was even allowed to go on the altar, so before he had sect initiation, he was teaching people how to do puja. So he would sit on the other side of the altar and teach people who are on the altar what to do, which is kind of really amazing to think about. It'd be like a cook who's never tasted something telling you exactly how to cook it and having it come out like perfectly, but never tasted the sabji or something. It's really like I can't even believe this. So he'd sit on the other side of the altar and explain the whole process of doing the puja, but he himself wasn't allowed to go on there and do it. But still, he was studying everything about it. He was learning everything about it. So this was like a really amazing person that we were able to learn from and to see. I know Divya and Chinmoy had some really close association with him and about how he kept us really focused on what we were doing and where we were and why we were doing it. These are really great principles to build.
There is a lady in Ukraine also. There's a lady who cooks, and she's a really good cook. But her mentality, they have Giriraj that they offer to Giriraj. But her mentality is actually more for the devotees than for Krishna, in the sense of when the devotees are happy, she's so happy. But one thing about this lady, and she's not young, she's a little aged, but she herself only eats like fruit and yogurt or something, like every day. That's what she eats. And I mean, that's her choice. But the point is that she's such a dedicated cook that everybody loves the prasadam that she makes. And I was reminded of that by talking about Ramai, that he's not done this and that and the other, but he's able to give direction. Mm-hmm. And about cooking, this lady makes such nice prasadam, but yet she doesn't have any hint, oh, I'm making it for myself, because she's not even going to eat it. Her name is Gayatri. Anyway, a few minutes left. Would anybody like to contribute something or ask our special guests any question? Praneshwari Didi, you always have something. Yes, but Chinmoy Devu, yes. And Divya is smiling like anything. She's bursting to say something.
Swanangi Didi is there as well.
Where's Swanangi? Oh, Swanangi Didi. I thought it was a photograph, a backdrop. It's actually the sewing room. Oh, Swanangi Didi, so happy to see you there. Yes.
Nobody? Come on.
Yes, no, they're going to say Chinmoy raised his hand, Divya Shakti also. Chinmoy Prabhu.
So we know that Krishna likes butter and milk sweets and everything, but now there's this vegan movement that's kind of all over the world. And so, exactly. But when we cook, and there are devotees who are living at the temple who are not taking milk anymore, who don't want to take lactose. It's not good for their health. And also when we go out preaching, we're also meeting people in the public who can't take prasadam because it has milk in it, some milk product in it. So, I mean, what should our real conception be? Because when we're cooking, we're saying we're cooking for Krishna, for the Lord, their lordships. But there's also devotees who are going to take that prasadam. And they may not be able to take that prasadam because of some health concern. So, you know, maybe we make something that's normally made with milk, we make it vegan. So which way are we going? I mean, what should there be a conception there? we're only cooking for Krishna, or we're also cooking for the devotees?
It's kind of a tricky one because of the health thing, but it depends. I mean, nowadays, so much of this is kind of like hypochondriac kind of thing, where it's a like you're saying, a fad or a phase or something. They have like an intolerance versus an allergy. And they're not exactly allergic, but they think that they shouldn't be taking it. Being in India recently, like they think that lactose intolerance is a myth. You think it's like a Western made up thing. They never heard of or could believe that somebody can't take milk. Like you think that, that's not possible. That's just like an American joke. There's no way you're lactose intolerant. But I have heard that this vegan thing has spread its way into SoCal, and I couldn't believe it when I heard it. Krishna loves butter. Krishna loves milk. You have to think, remember, a dairy cow, a milk cow, its service is to produce milk, is to give milk. A fruit tree's job is to give fruit. So in a way, we have to kind of remember these things. Now, some devotees have some actual harm that will come from taking these things, then yeah, we can adjust. There can always be something that they're offered. But as far as like the public, like you were saying, I don't know if it's true or not, but we would always, Suresh would like, we would always just lie and say, yeah, there's no butter, there's nothing. I mean, the overwhelming benefit they're going to get from taking the prasadam far outweighs like a little uncomfortable feeling they might have for a couple of minutes. If there's a little bit of a reaction to it, they're not going to die for sure. And if they do die, they'll die with prasadam in their mouth. So what a wonderful thing that would be.
Suresh said Guranga potatoes were vegan.
Which is like a kilo of butter and 2 kilos of cream. So Maharaj should probably know a little bit better of how to answer this. I mean, I come from the background of just jam it down the throats, whether it's prasadam or vegan, not vegan, whatever it is.
Kala is
it's delicious.
Kala is the son of Shruta Shrava Prabhu, just remember.
I mean, I also come from a background. My father's Jagannath.
You literally jam it down your throat.
We had cows a lot of the times when I was growing up, so we ate a lot of dairy. But actually, when I was a child, very little, my parents said that I could not drink dairy, so I would just get lots of mucus, and so I didn't take dairy. But now I don't have that problem, so that's very fortunate for me. But at the same time, we are thinking about the devotees as well, right? Because we are offering it to the devotees as well, and we want the devotees to be pleased. We want the devotees to be happy with our service, and so in that way, we try to accommodate.
And we don't want it to be wasted. You know, we can always remember if we cook all these things and they're so nice and we like them, but if, you know, there's only a few people that happen to show up for the prasadam and everything we cook we can't take, then it might be wasted, and that would be a horrible thing. So I guess, Jim, way to answer, it is kind of a balance. It is kind of a balance of who is there and who you're cooking, who will be honoring the cooking. It's not easy. I mean, I've been in India and Mexico and now in Thailand since leaving the U.S., and there's not as much of this kind of vegan popularity, certainly not in India. Thailand, maybe a little bit. Actually, at Chiang Mai here in Gupta Govardhan, we do have a bit of this, a group of these people who are lactose-free, gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free, taste-free, all of these things, and it's a bit
Come on,
annoying.
I told you about Cat's ice cream, the best ice cream in the world. You would never know.
Parmananda's farm, and he is one of these people who is gluten-free and all these things.
Okay,
so,
a quick contribution from me means from Srila Gurudev, because various things came up about adjusting to the diets, and this is about chilies, so we can come on to the innocent subject of chilies. That in India, you know, so many Western devotees could not take the chilies. I mean, some literally cannot take even a chili. They get like reaction to it. So Srila Gurudev also, he was practical. We're cooking for Krishna, but we are cooking for the Vaishnavas, means we are cooking for Krishna, but that the remnants are going to come to the Vaishnavas. So we do want to be practical for what devotees can and cannot take. And So some people really cannot take one chili. And so Gurudev adjusting to that. And some people really cannot take gluten. Some people really cannot take lactose. I mean, these things are there. So that is one side of it. So we need to be conscious of who we're going to be distributing the prasad to afterwards. But the other thing about the vegan side, I mean, from a completely un-Krishna conscious point of view, materialist point of view, I mean, I was shocked when a devotee described to Gurudev what they do to get milk. What is it? What does the dairy industry, the commercial dairy industry mean? I mean, really, it's some horrific things. Then we can sympathize, or whatever it may be, we can see that point of view that, oh, we don't want to have any part of such a sinful way to make milk. I mean, really, there are things we don't want to discuss, the horrific things. I'm sure you can see it on Google. But the point is that Gurudev was asked this question about the vegan part. He was asked that question, you know, directly with all the graphic details. And Gurudev considered, and he replied that, but we will offer the milk and milk products, yogurt and sweets and all these things to Krishna, because Krishna likes milk products. And this way, the animals, they're being misused and abused anyway. It's the only way they're going to get any benefit. If the Vaishnavas don't offer the milk products, etc., then the cow's life is completely wasted. So again, Gurudev, seeing from the pure, the very clean Krishna conscious point of view, and giving this like harmonizing position. But there are those who are lactose intolerant, and why that has come, you know, we do not know. Like there is a theory, and I don't read the theory because I don't read all these things, but we hear from the devotees about the gluten intolerance. It never used to be, but due to what the pesticides or whatever it is that they put, or the DNA changes, whatever it is, that it's a recent thing which has come due to manipulation of the, you know, unnatural production of the wheat. So, you know, what can we say? That there are those who have like physical conditions, so we must be conscious about that for them. So Gurudev was practical from the chili angle, but we still were offering chilies to Krishna. Otherwise, how will the chili tree get some benefit? But we will make something which doesn't have the chilies in, because we're here also to satisfy the Vaishnavas. And we can see this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Look how many times cooking for Krishna by Advaita Acharya, by, I mean, such great, I mean, great souls, many headed by Advaita Acharya, if you like. They're cooking for Krishna, but they're cooking for Mahaprabhu and the devotees. I know Mahaprabhu is Krishna, but everything is in the mood of Mahaprabhu being a Mahabhagavat, if you like. He's showing the life of a devotee. So we need to like harmonize all the different things. So we don't want devotees to suffer. We want good things.
Any other questions?
Quick question, because we have some
I can't
duty
believe an hour
here.
flew by already.
It flew by. And Daivat is always driving. She's going somewhere. I hope you're on the way to Goloka. I know it's a long journey.
Hopefully one day, Maharaj. No, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to give my dandavats and say hello. Seen you in photographs, and it's very, it gives me happiness to see that you're over there serving Gosai Maharaj, Madhusudan Maharaj, and the devotees over there, and just that. I just wanted to say hi. And yes, I'm always on the drive, but trying to listen. So, Dandavats Maharaj, Dandavats to all.
We see you, but we can't hear you.
You didn't listen?
What?
You could not.
No, this is the
Hear me?
Madhusudan Maharaj. Yeah, we can hear you. Madhusudan Maharaj has gone silent.
Oh.
We can still see the video. Oh, Gaur connected to the. There we go.
Okay. So, Daivari, thank you so much. Seeing you here reminds us all of the wonderful Tijuana devotees Jai Balai Prabhu, Jai Swami and family. I'm very happy to see you and be reminded of this community. It is such a great part of our mission and such a wonderful, exciting group you have there. We miss you so much. Can't wait to see everybody very soon.
Maharaj's computer crashed.
My computer fully crashed. Just see, these things happen. Anyhow,
It was intolerant.
it was intolerant of me. Anyhow, we're here, and if we look the other way, you can see how the day has come from Australia to Chiang Mai, actually Chiang Rai. This is the Govinda farm, and now our day is continuing over here, and I'm sure with you all too. And so, we're very happy to have been able to have all of our VIP, can't say VIP, our sons, okay, our friends, our exalted friends come. I was told I mustn't say VIP, but our special guests, and with our prasadam, we're always having different varieties. So with our classes, we can have some different varieties too. All right. So for some reason, we have a bit of a problem with the computer side of things, but Gaura's little tablet has saved us. And please excuse our communication, like the slip up at the end here, but obeisances to one and all, and we'll see you next time.
Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki
Jai Srila Bhakti Sunda Govinda Deva Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Deva Swami Maharaj ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Gaur.